What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another Let's Talk Crypto. This is episode 49. And guys, I'm not gonna lie, it's been a while. I haven't done a live stream probably since August. And that's because of a few things. One, I live in an apartment and there's been a lot of construction lately. So I'm on the top floor and they're working on the roof. So there's been a lot of drilling, a lot of noise. So I haven't been able to do anything that has to do with video really because it's just been too noisy during the day, which is when I usually do all my content. And two, in September, it's my birthday. It's my girlfriend's birthday, well, fiance now. And we traveled during that month to celebrate all this. So I haven't been in town. So because of that, that's why you guys haven't seen me go live. You guys haven't seen me put out any video content in the last month or so. But it is now October. I am now back at home. Everything's mostly back to normal. There's still some construction, not too much of it lately. So we're about to get back on the grind, and it's actually the perfect time because if you guys remember, if you guys been following and watching what we have been speaking about, a lot of this stuff is about to start happening. So, 6 months back, we spoke about the Bitcoin halving, right? We've been speaking about it all year long. And one of the main things that I've been explaining to you guys and showing you guys is that the Bitcoin halving, although it is the biggest event in crypto, people expect once the Bitcoin halving starts that price just shoots up, but that's actually not how it works. The way it works is 6 months later is when that supply shock really kicks in, and that's really when we start to see when Bitcoin's price really starts to react as a result of the Bitcoin halving. And you can see this through the years. If you look back through any halving period, any halving year, you'll see this over and over again, something that just consistently happens. 6 months after is usually when price really begins to take off. And 18 months after is usually when we see a peak in the price of Bitcoin. So with all that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the charts, see what's going on in the market, and see where we are as far as the Bitcoin halving cycle. Give me a second. Let me turn off the AC, which is literally right next to me, and it's making a lot of noise. Let me go ahead and turn that off real quick. Give me a second. You can tell that it's been a while, guys. Forgot to turn off the AC to do this. I literally have the AC right next to my setup in the closet. So when that starts off, it makes a whole lot of noise. All right, so it'll be shutting down now in a sec, but let's go ahead and jump into this. Let's take a look at what's been happening over the last month or so, over the last 2 months, and what we can expect going forward. So let's zoom out first. Let's start at the monthly here. And let's take a look here at what's been going on overall. So we had this massive rally that began back in January of last year, right? Not this year, the last year, where Bitcoin's price already went. Let's take a look here. From the bottom, well, the bottom is actually a little bit lower. The bottom was, what was it? Around $15,000 to the top, where we topped out with a new all-time high at almost $74,000. About a 379% return. Right? Now, of course, nobody's going to catch the exact bottom. Nobody's going to catch the exact top. But it's in that range, right? Let's say we entered here and, we're holding currently at the current price, right? So this entry would have been somewhere around $17,000, 275% return. Let's say that we entered after this massive rally here back in January of 2023. then we'd be somewhere around 167%, right? So the point is, you're not going to catch the exact bottom. You're not going to catch the exact top, and that's okay. We're still going to be able to make money if we play it the right way. So the bottom was ended up being around November 2022, right? And the top was in April. Well, actually, no. It was actually in November of 2021. So 1 year later was the bottom. This is something that we've spoken about as far as when to buy, when to sell for the buy and hold periods. The best times to buy historically has been 1 year after the peak of the Bitcoin bull run. And if we look at 1 year after the peak, it's literally 1 year is when we bottomed out in November of 2022. So that would have been the best time to buy. And the best time to sell is 18 months after the Bitcoin halving. So the Bitcoin halving just happened, and we'll take a look at the halving cycle in a bit. But that's just to give you guys an idea. If you guys want to just set up calendars and be like, all right, buy 1 year after the Bitcoin top, and buy and sell 18 months after the Bitcoin halving. If you guys were to do that alone, you'd be making insane profits. Just to put it simple. And I'm not saying that it's always gonna be the exact bottom, and it's always gonna be the exact top, but you're gonna be in the ballpark, right? And that's all we can ask for. We just want to be close, right? We're not looking for exact. We just want to be in the ballpark of it. If we can be in the ballpark of it, then that's going to make us so much money in the long term, as long as the cycles keep behaving the same exact way every 4 years. So that's the way we're going to play it until something changes. Now, where we're at right now, we can see that last year, we're in October right now, right? October is known to be the most bullish month for Bitcoin overall. And you can see even last October, we had a 40% move up in October. Let's pull up here CoinGlass. This is not what I'm looking for. This is the liquidations heat map. What am I looking for here? So CoinGlass is a good site that I like to use. I lost my train of thought and I forgot what I was looking for right now. Futures data, no. Open interest, historical open interest. No, it's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for the liquidity. I was looking for the historical data as far as the prices. So where is it? I'm not seeing it right now. Data. All right, if you guys see it, tell me in the comments, because right now I'm not seeing it. Bitcoin returns. Okay, maybe here. Here we go. Found it, guys. Found it. All right. So let's take a look at Bitcoin monthly returns. If we take a look at October, historically speaking, when we look at average return, you'll see that October is the second biggest average return monthly. And median return, it is the biggest, right? 21.2% median return, 20.7% average return. Now, November has a bigger average return, but a smaller median. And that's because we had, back in 2013, we had this insane move in November, 449%, which kind of throws off all the other numbers. Now, in 2013, in October, we did also have a big move of 60%, but it's more in line with the rest of the numbers. So this is, I would say that this is more of a true average than this in November. of that 46% number, because that's thrown off by this crazy number of 449% that honestly we're probably never going to see again in a month for Bitcoin. So yeah, so that's why I call October the most bullish month for Bitcoin. The other thing is, if you look historically over Bitcoin, you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of 11 years that this has been tracking it has been bullish in the month of October. All right. And if we look at November, we can see that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 11. So once again, October is the most bullish month. Not saying that November isn't bullish. I'm just saying that October is definitely the most bullish month historically for Bitcoin. Of course, with all that being said, September has been the most bearish month for Bitcoin. And what happened in September? We got a 7.3% move up. And what's going on so far after about 11 days in October? We have a price about 3% down right now. So there's still plenty of time. And I think that we most likely will end up bullish overall in October. Now, of course, things can play out differently, but just speaking from historical data and some of the reasons why price is dropping right now based on FUD, once again, on what is it, the government approving whatever it is. There's fear that I don't know how many billions of dollars are going to be sold into the market, et cetera, et cetera. The same stories, same headlines, same fear over the same things, right? Just over and over and over. People are price has been selling off over the last few months over the same news, basically. So it's only a matter of time before price bounces back up. We've seen this over and over through July, August, September, where there was news headlines that that there was going to be big sell-offs because of Mt. Gox, because of the German government selling off billions of dollars, because of whatever it is, fill in the blank, is going to sell X amount of money in Bitcoin. It's basically been happening all year long, right? Where we've had all these headlines, and what happens with Bitcoin? Bitcoin always bounces back. Even back here in August, when we had this insane move to the downside, what did Bitcoin's price do? Bounced right back up. And I'm expecting this is going to be the same story over and over again. Even last month, in September. Look at September. We opened at 58. We went as high as 66. And then we dropped down as low as 52. Right? That's just after dropping down as low as 48 back in August. And what happened in September? We ended up in the green. And where we're at now, we opened up at 63, dropped down to 58, and we're currently just a few days later. What is it? A day later, we literally, I think we hit 58. What, yesterday? A day later, we're sitting back at $62,000. So for your long-term holds, this is not a big deal. Just let things play out. Your focus should be on figuring out when to sell about a year from now, right? So that's the focus on any long-term bags. I'm not worried at all for long-term. We can see this pattern right here. What pattern is this? This is a bull flag. What's a bull flag? When you have a massive move to the upside followed by just kind of consolidation, right? And that's exactly what we've gotten here since September 2023. And really, you can even look back, right? From January, we had this massive move up, we had consolidation, and then a second massive rally up, which is a continuation. And now, guess what? We're having consolidation again. So what's going to happen after this? We literally just saw this play out right here. We have this same pattern right here, right? We had a massive move up, consolidation, and another move up, a continuation. I think that's exactly what we see again. We saw that we got this massive move up. We're getting consolidation here. And what's going to happen next? Well, we're probably going to rally up once again, right? So that's what I'm seeing here, the way it's playing out. Everything on the chart basically points to this type of continuation up to the upside. This is a bull flag. We saw it back here. I think we're going to see this again. And remember, when price begins to move, it moves very, very fast, guys. So, I don't recommend you to wait for this move to start happening. That's how you end up buying the top. You have to be buying in now during these dips. Anytime that there's a lot of fear in the market, anytime that there's a lot of headlines and news about Bitcoin going back to 50, 40, whatever number it is that you want, that's, even though it's scary, that's when you need to be adding into your positions, because long term, this is still extremely healthy. We're consolidating. This is very, very healthy for the long term. For the next year, I think we're going to see a continuation up here. How high can we go from here? That's, that anyone could kind of throw up a number. That I don't know. I can't give you an answer on that. But I would say definitely above 100K. I think price could still double here in the next year. So if we double, that puts us at around 124K. I think that's realistic. I think even as high as 150K is realistic in the next year. Now, I know some people are calling for 200K. Again, that could be realistic. That could be a number that we see. But nobody really knows, right? Everyone's just kind of throwing numbers out there, and we don't know exactly how high this is actually going to go. So we just got to play it by ear. The one thing that we do know is that October, November, and December are bullish months for Bitcoin. In quarter three, if we look back, quarter four, if we look back historically, is again one of the most bullish times for Bitcoin. We can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 7 out of 11, right? We're not counting this one yet. We're not counting quarter four of this year yet. So 7 out of 11, it's been bullish on halving years. If we only look at halving years in 2020, look at the return in 2020 in quarter four, 168%. In 2016, look at the return, 58%. In 2012, it's not there, but again, it was another bullish time for Bitcoin. So when you're looking at it in just that lens, that's pretty much what I'm expecting. Now, I'm not saying that we're gonna get 168% or 58% even, but it is a possibility that we get somewhere in that ballpark of, I would say, closer to this number, right? Plus 58%. You can see in quarter one of this year, we had a 68% move up. So it is something that's possible. So that's something that we're watching. That's something that we're looking out for. And it's something to keep in mind that quarter four is still the most bullish month overall for Bitcoin. One of the most bullish quarters for Bitcoin. So we have to keep that in mind. We can see here an average return plus 81% and median 31%, which completely outdoes every other quarter in the year. So that's why we have to be bullish, during these times, during these dips. So now let's zoom in a little bit into the weekly to see what's going on here. On the weekly, what's been happening. And again, we're going to see the same thing. But here on the weekly, we start to see more of a range in how price is behaving and where price is going, what's going on. And you can see that we've had this downward resistance ever since we topped out here at 73.74, and it's slowly been going lower and lower and lower. Now, this is not really something to be worried about because this is common in a bull flag, right? If you look up bull flag pattern, right, you can just Google this. You'll see in the images, this is what bull flags look like, right? Bull flags go down. They have a downward channel just like this before the breakout. Again, another bull flag here, bullish flag. We have the move up, consolidation, which is downward consolidation, downward channel, and then a breakout continuation to the upside. And if you look here, flag types, same thing, right? The bullish flag could be a downward channel. It could be a wedge. It could be a pennant. It could be, and then for the bearish flags is usually when they go up. So that's not something I'm worried about. That's actually exactly what a bull flag is supposed to look like. So based on this pattern, how high can Bitcoin's price actually go, right? So usually the way that this is measured is based on the previous move to the upside, right? So let's look here. If let me see if any of these show here as far as the continuation. Let me see this one, flagpole over brand trend continuation. So this kind of shows how it usually goes, you know. So let's just go ahead and draw it out. So usually the way it plays out, and again, this doesn't mean it's gonna play out in this exact manner, but it will be something like this, where we get the move from the, let's say, the breakout, right? So the last flag, because remember, we had a flag before this, right? We had this flag right here. So the breakout would have been this candle right here. So let's say from about this candle to the top, that was a 141% move up, right? Now, it doesn't mean that this is going to be 141% move up, but this is just to get an idea of what our target might be on the breakout. So the breakout is going to be somewhere around here, which is about right around that $70,000 area. A breakout right now gives us a target of about $168,000, which again, that's a crazy amount, right? But we're looking at this from the bottom here to the top here. So what the other thing that we could do, that we should actually do, is do the breakout from here, from this one right here, because we had this move up, we had consolidation, and then continuation. So we should actually probably do it from there, because that number is a little crazy. So let's try that one. So now a breakout here will lead to a price of about $115,000. That's a little bit more realistic. And again, I always like to be conservative with my when I'm looking for targets. And if we go beyond those targets, then I'm more than happy to go beyond them. But I always like to be on the more conservative side when I'm making these kind of, when I'm looking for targets here. So 115,000, that's I think that's a realistic number that we can definitely hit in the next few months. How long is it going to take? That I can't tell you. I don't know. But I think that's something that can happen. If we look all the way back here at the previous bull runs, if we look, let's look at kind of end of the year, right? So September, October, right? Look at this move from October all the way till basically till April of the next year. We had this big correction, but then we continued up in all the way until November. So we've seen that same type of movement, and I think that could be something that we can anticipate to happen once again here. with Bitcoin. So that's currently what we're watching for here overall. And the next thing that we're going to look at here, now I have to just kind of figure out where I have the chart set up. But we're looking for the halving cycles chart that I have. All right, that's not it. I think it's in the index. Yep, here we go. All right. So let's zoom into this and let's talk about it. Let me take a sip of water really quickly. And make sure to subscribe to the channel, guys. If you guys aren't subscribed yet to the channel, don't forget to do so. I will be doing lots more content coming up. I'm going to get back to it. So make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like the video. If you're in here right now, let me know in the chat. Say what's up. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is the Bitcoin halving cycle. And the way that I look at it is in 5 different phases. We have the pre-halving accumulation. This is after Bitcoin bottoms out. We have the pre-halving rally. This is when we usually see the rally somewhat start before the halving. Then we have the pre-halving pullback. This always happens around halving time. We have the post-halving accumulation zone. Usually, once again, post-halving, this happens kind of a sell the news event. And then eventually we go into the post-halving rally, which is more or less the stage that we're at now. Now, if we look back at last time we saw this, we can see that it's pretty much the same exact thing. Pre-halving accumulation, pre-halving rally, the pre-halving correction. We also got the COVID crash, so that was an outlier event. Post-halving accumulation, right? And then eventually we got that post-halving rally here. And you can see that this pretty much began in September and October. So it was still kind of accumulating here in September. And then October is really when things started to take off, right? So you see here October through, and it was really the back half of October where it really took off. You see the first week of October, it was up about 6.5%. Second week, it was up about 1%. Third week, it was up about 13%. And then the last week of October, it was up about 5.5%. And then in November, things just continued up 12.5%. First week of November, second week up 3%, third week up 15%. So that's from October to November is when that rally really began, consolidated a bit, and then in December the rally pretty much continued there, had a pullback in January, and then end of January, beginning of February, rally continued up. And then after that, it pretty much just began to consolidate for a while before getting this big pullback down, before eventually topping out at the end of 2021, which marked the new all-time high for Bitcoin at about $69,000 and the beginning of the bear market at that point. So I'm expecting to see something similar to this. It's obviously not going to play out exactly the same, but this is what we're looking for right now. This is the next thing that we're looking for, the post-halving rally. Last time it began in October. If we look at the halving before that and look for when this began, we can see that it kind of the same thing. In October is really, we can see that we were consolidating here for a bit, and pretty much in October is when we really started getting those green candles here. You can see the green candle started here in October, started getting these big moves to the upside, continued throughout November and December. We had the two biggest moves actually in December of that year of 2016, where we ended up topping out at in January. We topped out at $1,150. This is around the time that I actually got into Bitcoin. I remember that. And then we dropped all the way back down to $750. And then it continued, and the same thing, right? All the way up until December of 2017. So about 18 months after the Bitcoin halving. The Bitcoin halving was July of 2016 that year. So again, we can see the same exact things playing out, right? That's why as long as it's the same, until it shows us something different, we just have to play it like it's played out historically. So that's kind of what we're looking for here. We're looking for this post-halving rally. We're looking for it to begin potentially. This is the first official week for October, because the last week started in September. So let's see what happens here. We're gonna have to wait and see if we're gonna actually get that move up, right? Maybe it might not be this month, but we might get this bullish pin bar here, and then we might get next week could be a big green week, and we might start seeing a rally here continuing through November and December, pushing up to that previous all-time high set up at $74,000 and inevitably breaking it. I think there is potential to break it by the end of this year, maybe even sooner, right? We're already at the end of the year, so maybe even in November or maybe even later this month, right? So that's pretty much what we're looking for here. So right now, all my bets are bullish. I am definitely betting bullish right now, just because historically that's what's happened, and I'm gonna just play the historical data that we have, you know. And until that proves otherwise, that's the way that I'm gonna be playing it overall. So now that we know from an overview, you know, what I'm looking for, what I'm expecting in my personal opinion based on the data that I'm looking at, how can we play this day to day, right? If you're looking to trade this, how can you play? So if we look at the daily chart, the main thing here is this massive support here, which sits right at $60,000. This is a big support level, and you can see that every time that the price has gotten here, price has bounced right back up, and we just did it again yesterday, right? Look at this bullish pin bar at support. That's a beautiful entry there, right? And we can see that this support has been a big level for Bitcoin overall. Even when coming back up, it's been a resistance there, right? You can see support, resistance. Of course, when it's lost it, look how drastic that drop has been. But as long as we don't lose it, as long as price continues to close above it, then we're fine. You can see here when we lost it here, price closed way below it, right? It closed around $58,000. That was a red flag. You can see the very next day we dropped as low as $48,000. That was insane. So as long as price continues to close above 60, then I'm happy with any long bets here. If we close below 60 for any reason, I'm gonna be a lot more cautious. I might close out some trades, but as long as that doesn't happen, I'm happy entering here at support, $60,000. You can let price drop below it and wait for a breakout trade above 60,000. I think that's a good play. Then the other good play is $62,000 for a breakout entry. I'm actually in a trade right now at 62,000 because if we look at 62, that's also been a big level overall for Bitcoin. Whenever we've broken above 62, usually it's led to higher prices. So I'm kind of playing that today. That's a trade that I'm playing here today. And yeah, I think those are the two best bets. Other than that, I think 70,000 is that next big bet, or actually or closer to 68. I think that's where that big resistance here is. I think a breakout trade above 68 could be a good play. Probably a breakout trade above 65 could be a good play as well. And then a breakout play above 70, I think, to catch that breakout to the upside, potentially setting a new all-time high at that point. So anything under this, I'm not really playing. I'm just waiting for it to get above this, back above 60,000 here to play that long. But yeah, that's pretty much how I'm playing it right now, guys. If you're looking for day-to-day, that's my overall outlook on the overall long-term and medium-term for Bitcoin as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Let me come back here and let me say what's up to Giannis. Giannis says, hello, nice to see you after a long time. Nice to see you as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. And it's great to see you again. I know it's been a while, but I am officially back, guys. And I'm gonna get back on the grind, back to creating content and providing you guys with the best content possible, right? Best ideas possible to try to make as much money as possible in this next year. Because we spoke about the best time historically to sell is 18 months post halving, which at this point is about a year from now. We're at the 6-month mark, so about 12 months from now is probably going to be the best time to sell Bitcoin. So we'll be covering that throughout these next 12 months, throughout the next year, trying to really pinpoint that top, that peak. But again, we're not looking to sell at the exact top. We're just looking to be somewhere in the ballpark close to that top, right? So as long as we're close and we sell, for during the last bull run, 69,000 was the top. But if you sold around 65, even if you sold at 60, I think you were more than happy with your profits, because you would have had, let's say you sold at 60, you would have had $60,000 if, of course, this is assuming you had one full Bitcoin. Bitcoin dropped down to 15,000. Let's say you bought around 20,000, right? Not the exact bottom, but let's say you bought 20,000. That means that you went from having one Bitcoin to having 3 Bitcoins. And then now, let's say it goes to $150,000. Let's say that's the peak. Let's say we don't sell at that peak. Let's say we sell at 120. You're selling, you have 3 Bitcoin. That's 120 times 3, right? So that's 3, what is it, 360? Is it 360? I'm not sure if my math is right there. 120 times 3 is 360. Yep. So that's $360,000. So that means you just turned 60,000 into 360,000. And let's say Bitcoin's price drops back down to like 60. So if you have 360, let's say you buy at 60 again. 60. Wait, I'm doing something wrong. 300. If you have, why can't I reset this? If you have 360, whoops, I put 3.6. That would mean you could buy 6 Bitcoin at that point. So yeah, so again, this is just an idea of where and when to be looking to buy and sell. But this is how you can consistently, every 4 years, just multiply your investment and your capital over and over again without really having to do much, without really having to trade, right? You don't have to worry about the day-to-day volatility, the day-to-day ups and down. All you're doing is really buying at the bottom, buying a year after the peak, selling 12 months post-halving, and doing it all over again every 4 years. As long as this pattern continues, we should be able to continue just doubling, tripling, quadrupling, or more our money every 4 year cycle. So, and of course, and this is not even talking about altcoins and meme coins and all that other stuff. So, and those are other ways where you can use your capital to, make even bigger returns. But I'm just trying to keep it as simple as possible for you guys. If you guys just want the simplest, easiest way to make money, that's probably the easiest way to double, triple, quadruple your capital, potentially more, without having to do any day-to-day trades. So, what's up to Yeli? I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. But yeah, for sure, meme coins. You guys already know meme coins have been outperforming the market for most of the year. However, they're also a lot more volatile, so you have to keep that in mind. Although they'll go up 100 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10x, maybe more. When it pulls back like 50, 60, 70, 80%, versus Bitcoin pulls back around 20%. So you have to. It depends again on the amount of your capital that you're putting into it. So I'm all into investing in meme coins. I have plenty of meme coins myself. I've become a believer, but again, you have to just be careful that you're not, and it depends on your capital, right? Because there's different stages and phases to capital and to your investment. So if you have, $10,000 or under, you want to be taking more risk, because if you lose, let's say if you lose $1,000 in a meme coin, although it hurts, it's easier to make $1,000 than, let's say, if you lose $100,000 in meme coins. It's a lot harder to make $100,000, right? So if I had like $1,000 or something, I wouldn't be putting that in Bitcoin. I'd be using that money to put into like meme coins and things like that could potentially 10x, take you from $1,000 to, let's say, $20,000 in the next year, versus Bitcoin. If you put $1,000 into Bitcoin in the next year, or maybe turn that into 2, 3, the max $4,000 in the next year. So again, it depends on your capital, right? If you're at $100,000 and above, then you should have more Bitcoin, at least 50% of that in Bitcoin, because you don't want to be taking too much risk. You want to protect your capital at the same time. So yeah, that's kind of my overview of how I like to play. I actually did an entire video on this, talking about how I would invest my money if I was, depending on how much money I had. And let me pull it up real quick for you guys. Which one was it? So is this one right here. Let me swap over. So this one right here, my data-backed crypto investments for 2024, and it says my plan. So that video right there, I break down exactly how I would invest my portfolio depending on the amount of capital I had. So you could check that out. I recommend you guys to definitely check that out. Recommend you guys to check out my crypto tier list, where I rank the top 25 cryptocurrencies. I recommend you guys to check out the 100x Solana altcoins that crypto millionaires are buying. Again, that has to do with meme coins and a lot of projects on Solana. And again, it's been 2 months since my last video, so expect some new content coming soon. Appreciate everyone who tuned in. Thank you guys so much. I will see you guys on the next one. Peace and love.